Okay. Is it going? Yeah? Okay. So I have here a little art journal, and it's from Prima, and it's a mixed media paper in the passport size. And I'm just playing, and I thought I was going to go live and have some fun. If you can hear noise outside, that's my dad clearing the snow. So I got this, well, quite recently they came out with these, and I think they're really, really fun. So in these we have different kinds of paper, as you can see. And we have some black paper. So I've started on this, and I think it's really great fun. This is just regular paper, and I don't know if you can see, but it sort of feathers out the watercolor. And so I mean, you can paint on it, but it won't take the watercolor very well. So you get 3 sheets of those in the beginning here, and then you get real watercolor, or heavy, and I would say it's 280 to 30 GSM. And here I just actually cut out using a knife, cutting out. And then we have some watercolor paper, and then we have some vellum. And I don't know if you can see, but I have built this little scene here, going through the trees, and then some like rocks or stones or hills, and then yeah. So I thought we can just have some fun doing some watercoloring, because watercoloring is fun. So I'm just going to pull up here. So this is the watercolor paper. So I'm just going to take a clip here, like so. And the watercolor I'm using, I'm having it off to the side here, is this pan. And these are actually mostly handmade watercolors by Rachel Beth. So you can see this row over here, and all the colors to this one are Rachel Beth. And then we have some Daniel Smith. Oops, that one was wet. So I have that off to the side. I don't know if you can, if I can shift this one a bit. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, like so. I also have some brushes here. These are just some really cheap one from China. And maybe some water. It's really dirty, so I'm going to keep it off to the side. Okay, so I thought we can do some tulips maybe. So I'm going to start with a color here, and it is called Strawberry and Rhubarbs. Rhubarbs and strawberries, I don't know. So I'm just going to make some very stylistic tulips here, and I really like this color. It's, you can get it really, really light reddish peachy color, and then very dark, so it's very pretty, I think. Yeah, that's my dad outside. We have got so much snow. It is, I don't know, here we live in southwest of Sweden, and we do get snow and we get winter, but we don't get so much snow. So yeah. Okay, so this one is a bit more opened, I would say. I'm going to do that. So just very like stylized, I would say. If you want to do like real tulips, then I would suggest look at a tulip. But the only plant I have here is a cacti, and it's not really the same, is it? Okay, so I'm just going to do that, and I think we're going to go over. I'm going to make a smaller ones up here, and then I don't know what they're doing outside. Bigger ones down here, and it's also to do with perspective, but this is just play, you know, having fun. Oh, that's not like tulip. So yeah, I can't see if comments are on. This is my first live video on YouTube, so yeah, I don't know if there are any comments, but maybe if I press that one. Oop. So okay, just going to paint, and if you want to paint along with me, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. And what I like about watercolor, and this watercolor paper, even though it's just like a really cheap journal, it's quite good. And what I like to do is these kind of little bit wet and wet stuff. So now those kind of dark, but doing that, adding some more pigment here, and then just dropping it in at the base, getting some shift. And this is really fun to do if you have like a light pink and then some yellow. I don't have any yellow on the palette here. Anyway, when I do my proper painting, I use my Daniel Smith colors, but just for crafting and for fun and just playtime, I really like these Rachel Beth colors. They're so fun colors that I wouldn't have thought about getting. So yeah. And then I'm going to do some leaves, and I think I'm going to do some fun colors. So maybe some metallic. Ooh, metallic. Okay. So here is what I have, oops, to choose from. So this one is Daniel Smith, and it's Phthalo Blue. This is Davis Grey by Winsor Newton, and then we have some Opera Pink from Daniel Smith too. But here is the gorgeous metallic by Rachel Beth. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this one maybe. And oh, I can actually tell you what it is. No. Okay, I can do it like this. Okay, Baramosa. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe, yeah. Baramosa. I think it's like a beer. Okay, going to go with that one. Because who doesn't need a bit of gold in their life? Okay, so I saw this sneak of her new paints coming out in the subscription for March, and they looked gorgeous. Okay. So here I'm just going to add some leaves. So it has stopped looking like tulips, I have to admit, and we're just going to go with it. So here I can give you a tip if you want to. When you do these kind of leaves, what you do is you start with a tip, you add pressure and then lift up. So, and then lifting up. And depending on the brush you use, you will get different results. So this one comes to a very fine tip. And you will get like hair thin points. You can see the stem here, how tiny that is. We're going to do that again. This is one of my favorite techniques, and I can spend I don't know how long just painting these leaves with different brushes. And you can do them with different, I mean this one works as well. It doesn't have to be a super tiny one or a very big one, but I would say having one with a really nice tip, that really helps you. And then it's just practicing, because you do have, it is a bit of sitting in the hands, because you have very light, you add pressure, and then coming up. So that is something you need to practice if you want to be able to do them. Okay, do one more time here. Well, one more time, I'm going to do the whole page, I would guess. Adding a bit more water. And here. Like so. So now we have a very like concentrated here. So I will try to fill it out a bit so we get some connection here. Just going to start here. And here I can see this part of the painting is wet. So what I'll do is add a bit of gold so it soaks up into the flower, because I like that, I suppose. And then some more. Spinning it around so I get easier to do this part. And here I'm going to go over the spine, and I will have to fix that a bit. So adding pressure, lifting up. That turned out very good. And you can also do it with 2 strokes. So here I can see it's wet, so I'm going to add in. So here we're going to do 2 strokes, so I'm going to do that. And lifting up, and then do one other. And when I do 2 strokes, I try to leave white in the middle, because that white would add some dimension and some highlights, and would really make the leaves feel more alive. Yeah. going to do this one up here. And we're going to have a little stem going out before I add the leaves. I don't know. I have to make it more pointy there. Like so. We have one down here. And these are quite close to these sides, so I'm going to add in just a few leaves because poking up, you know. And then we have one here, still wet, so I'm going to add in some there, and we're going to make this one go behind this one, and then some leaves. Okay, so that is just some really loose watercolor flowers. And then, depending on how you let it dry, you can get some really cool effects here. Okay, so that's a very small one. I'm going to grab another journal here so I can keep playing. And this one is a bit bigger. Let's see if I can lift you up a bit. Okay, maybe not. Okay. So this journal is a Jane Davenport from American Craft. It's really good watercolor paper, I have to say. I was a bit surprised considering the price of it, but it's really, really nice. We have cold press here. I mean, you can see the texture, maybe. And then some more hot press, so that's really nice. And I suppose we just keep on going with the flower theme because I like painting flowers. Oh gosh, I put my palette on the flowers. Julia. Okay, moving on. Okay, so some watercolor flowers. So one tip that I learned, I'm actually going to switch my palette here, and I'm going to grab my beloved Daniel Smith palette here. So what I learned making these flowers, they're super easy. So what you do is you take the center color, and I'm going to go with just a very yellow one, and what you do is you make it sort of like that. Okay, that was a very good explanation, don't you think? You make it like that, so like a half circle. You leave white in it because that's going to add some life to it, and I'm going to add, so I have a bit more water here, like that. Then what you do is you add a blue browny color, so I'm just mixing here off to the side, French ultramarine and burnt sienna. And what I do here is I lay it just below here, and then I clean my brush, load it with water, and then just swipe out. Okay. Now I feel like I need some more color, so I'm just mixing a bit of brown into this yellow so I can get a bit of a shadow. Okay, super easy. So I'm using Daniel Smith Quinacridone Gold, Daniel Smith Burnt Sienna for the, what do you call it, the center of the flower. Yeah, leaving a bit of white, so this one turned out much more brown, and then just adding a bit of blue. And then clean water. I'm not using clean water. it's brown water. Yeah. And you get this. And what I really like about this technique is really easy, but you get different results every time. I think that is just sort of a bit of magic. Watercolor magic. Okay. So I'm adding in that. Cleanish. Keep water. And then you can sort of see how the color separates. I get some blue valleys, some yellow valleys. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Okay, oh gosh, wrong color. Okay, here I'm going to do another one, leaving that bit of white. Even if you just have a super tiny bit of white, it makes all the difference to get that bit of life into it. Now, it doesn't have to be very shiny because it's a flower and they're not typically shiny, but it makes a big difference. Okay, more water. And while these are still wet, I can go in with a more concentrated water to just add some more color. And this is also because of the different colors or different papers, you get different effects. So here you can see the texture of the paper because it has a texture to it. If you do it on a smooth paper, you will get a different look because the paint won't settle in the valleys of the paper. So I'm just going to do that. So this is the cold pressed paper. Doing the same, making sure that I leave a bit of white. And then taking my blue mix here, and I have a bit of burnt sienna in here so I get a bit more of a neutral color. And just feathering out. And you say, you lost your white. I did, because it's so light. And then because the book is uneven, it will sort of tend to flip. Okay, I'm going to mix a bit more. Okay, oh, so you can see here. Here I have quinacridone gold. I'm going to put that here. And then I have burnt sienna light. I'm going to put that here. Here I have French ultramarine. And then I'm just going to take a bit of burnt sienna light. I'm going to put that there. And you know what? I'm going to see if I can make some more light. Is that the first day or the second day? Oh, that's better. Okay, and we have some good music in the background. Painting along, celebrating Monday. I don't know. I hardly ever celebrate Mondays. Yeah. My parents have been home this whole weekend. They were going to go skiing, but they came home early and everybody has been sick and have fevers and coughing and body fluids everywhere. So I have been like doing the groundwork here, making sure everybody's surviving. So yeah. Today my little brother who could go back to school, so I was like, okay, one down. Yeah, gosh. But that's life. It's February in Sweden. Everybody's sick. So here I have some white and I'm actually going to just leave that and go here. Do it like that. And another one, and we're actually going to add some more color here. Taking it straight from the pan. Just have a bit more concentration here. So yeah, this journal, I really like it, and this is my, I think it's my second one, and I have one page left. I do have another one as a backup just in case, but I have started to toying with the idea of binding my own books with like my own favorite paper. So I have made a bit of a what do you call it? A test, and I really like it. So, but yeah, I really like experimenting with different color or different. Oh God, I cannot talk. Should not do a live video if you cannot talk. With different texture of paper or different brands of paper, because as you can see, it makes a big difference in how the painting turns out depending on the paper you use. So yeah. And another tip is using clean water. I don't know. Why should you use clean water when you use watercolors? It feels... Yeah, I know. Okay. Mixing a bit more here. Quinacridone gold. And... hi Sheila. I can see comments. Oh my gosh. I feel so high-tech right now. I hope your coffee is good. Yeah, so I'm just mixing quinacridone gold and burnt sienna to get this sort of center color. And then adding the burnt sienna and French ultramarine here at the base. And when I first started making these flowers, I thought, it looks weird because they're not white, but then when you have like a whole page of them in all of these colors and they're shifting and they look just I think they're magical. Okay, so I'm going to bring it up so you can see closer. So here you can see how the colors, how they look on the sort of more textured paper. And there are shadows everywhere, I'm so sorry. And then compared to the smooth side. So yeah. And then, I mean, you can go in and we can add some, I don't know, some leaves. And just going to mix a greenish color. Okay. And I'm just going to do a very, yeah, like something like that. Yeah. And then here, and this brush I'm using is actually a new brush I got today. I don't know if you can see. It's a Marie's number 4, and I got it from AliExpress just to test out, and comes in a set of 7. And I mean, I've only tried this size, but it's really nice. It's a good tip. It says on the, when you bought it, like it was sable hair, and I was like, I don't think that. But it is really good, even if it is synthetic, so. Yeah. You can make bargains on AliExpress. Okay. But I do have to say that if I would have to choose, I think these silver black velvet brushes are really, really nice. I got some for Christmas, and they are really nice to paint with. So I think I would have to them. Or if you Jackson Art, I think they are in England. They have really nice brushes. I usually get those if I when I get brushes, I save up and then buy like 5 or 7 from them. Yeah, definitely worth it. Okay. So what I really like about watercolors is that because usually, I suppose, if you're like trained or having a teacher who's taught you something, you mix the colors before you start. I don't, because I taught myself, so I hardly ever mix enough to go around. So I like get halfway through and then start mixing again. And I really like that because you get different tones of the same color. And I feel like that gives it more life. I don't know. So yeah. Just adding in some leaves here, and then I think I'm going to go in and add some leaves that's not attached to the stems of the flower, just to fill out the page a bit. So one here maybe. So you who are watching, if you want to, you can just write in the comments if you do watercolor in any way, shape or form, or if you just like watching watercolors being made. I really like watching watercolor being made. I do paint a bit myself, I do have to say that, but I think it's very fascinating to watch people do what they do really well. And when they explain why they do it and how they do it, I find it so fascinating. Like wood carving or baking, cooking. I cannot cook, so I find that fascinating to watch too. Yeah. Oh, oil painting. I have no idea how to oil paint. I think that's really tricky. On the other hand, I can't really say I have tried, so I don't know. It's why when people say, oh, watercoloring is so hard, and I was like, no, have you tried? And they're like, no. I was like, yeah, well, if you would try it, it's not that hard. I don't know. Okay, so now when I'm starting adding these like random leaves, what I do is I just add more water to my mix. I get them lighter and lighter, and eventually will be like just water and fading into the background. That is the idea, but like I said, I'm very spontaneous, impulsive person, so... Oh, when I color, I should say. When I watercolor, I'm a bit impulsive. Not in any other way. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this painting is coming out pretty fun. Listening to some music, painting, and just looking out. It's really dark outside. But I think most of the snow is out of the driveway, so maybe we can actually drive into town tomorrow. How's about that? Yeah, maybe staying home anyway. Okay. Yeah. Something like that. Oh, adding more water. Hej Anna! Vad roligt att ha en svensk med. Okay, I'm not going to speak Swedish. It felt so weird. I think it's really hard to pick a language on social media. To like, do you speak Swedish because you're Swedish, or do you speak English to reach a bigger crowd? Svårt val. Yeah, I have picked English, and if you have seen videos on my YouTube channel, you know that, and Instagram too, but it's really fun to have like a countryman watching. Yeah, and I think I sound really, really Swedish when I speak English, but then I heard from someone who lives in England, and she asked me if I were from Welsh, and I was like, that is like the biggest compliment I've ever gotten. So in my language anyway. So yeah, I would say this is about done. So here's a tip on really, really easy flowers that look really, I think, very, very pretty and very watercolorish. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and for making this my first live here on YouTube, and I hope you will come back and watch again.